So for the first week, it does look like we have a lot on our agenda. However, most of them are orientation related activities and they do not take very long. So this kind of summarizes everything that you are going to be doing. It matches up with what's in the syllabus, and we do have a due date. Okay, so it's basically due um, a week from when it is assigned. And so if you come down here, everything is pretty much in order. So you're going to want to read through the welcome message, take a look at the syllabus. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because you guys can read through this. So I'm going to pretty much hit the high points, the things that I believe most of you will be interested in. We do have a book for this class. It is a reference book. So you will notice that the lecture demos each week are quite detailed because they are including additional information that you need to know. And the information that I am including is information that you need to know for that MTA certification exam, which is your final exam. So there is a required book. You do need to have an internet connection. And for software, you will be downloading a web editor, an FTP program, and you should have several of the web browsers installed. You can see I have several of them down here. As far as a web host, this is basically an internet service provider that you transfer your web pages to. You don't really need to worry about that because I have a web host. I have my own domain, and I will be adding you to my domain. And I will be emailing that information to you at the end of the first week. I usually wait several days because there's usually drops and ads, and it's easier for me to create all the accounts when registration has settled down a little bit. We do have learning outcomes for this class, and those are listed. So these are in 6 different categories and basically give you an overview of what you are going to learn in this class. And we do have assessment methods, which typically are the assignments, or they may be discussion exercises or unit tests. Or projects. It just depends on what the outcome is and what the best way to assess it is. We also are assessing critical thinking, which is a general education outcome at NMC. As far as the grading goes, I grade on based on percentage, and your goal is to get as many points in this class as possible because you will get a higher grade that way. We have 1,000 points, and so at the end of the semester, if you're at 95 to 100%, you will get a 4.0, and that translates to 950 to 1,000 points. If you're at 90 to 94%, you will get a 3.5, and that is 900 to 949 points. And you can kind of look down the scale. If you are within 5 points of the next higher grade, I will bump you up and give you that next higher grade. So you do not need to worry about being at 949 and missing a 4.0 by 1 point. That will not happen in this class. How you get points is you complete the textbook assignments and you complete the lab assignments. So as we get into the course, most weeks you will have a textbook assignment, which is more directive. It's where you are learning skills, and there are videos that show you how to complete the various tasks. Then you will also have a lab assignment. And the lab assignment is a little more free format. There are minimum requirements that you need to meet, but you can typically choose your own subject matter and you get to be creative. We do have a final project, which is at the end of the semester. And for the final project, I do let you reuse one of your lab assignments and add to it, or you can do something completely different. There are requirements that you're going to need to meet in that final project. And then the project showcase is where you share the project and you also share your design ideas, uh, or your design decision making with your classmates. Why you selected a particular type of menu or why you selected a particular layout. So those decisions that you made, you share with the class along with your project. We do have discussion forums where you will be investigating different sites on the web, indicating what you like and dislike about them. You will be sharing various lab assignments with each other, along with your design decision making. And you'll also be investigating CSS in particular that you would like to know more about. And then you will be sharing that with each other. We do have an e-portfolio assignment and a GitHub assignment. Those are at the very end of the semester. You will be taking your code that you created for your final project and you will be putting it on GitHub. So if you do not have a GitHub account, you will be creating one. They are free and you'll learn how to create a repository and you'll also learn how to upload your files. The e-portfolio basically involves linking to your GitHub. If you have a LinkedIn account, you can use that for your e-portfolio. And if you don't, you can actually use whatever medium you want. However, we do recommend LinkedIn because in the business area, that is heavily used by employers. And you'll learn more about that at the end of the semester. Certiport registration is something else that you are going to need to do. I give you guys points for doing that, but it is required for you to take your MTA certification exam at the end of the semester. We have one quiz and 2 unit tests. The quiz is on the first chapter. After that, we do more of what I call a unit test on several chapters. And those unit tests are set up very similar to the MTA exam. So you guys get used to the types of questions that you're going to see on the MTA. The MTA does not have your typical true, false, and multiple choice. They have different types of questions. So I tried to include those question types on the unit tests. The unit tests in this class and the quiz are open book, open note. The MTA is not open book, open note. But by the time you get to the end of the semester, you should be a lot more comfortable with the different question types. And I do have some resources that I will be giving you to help prepare you for that MTA exam. So that kind of is in a nutshell how you get points in this course. All of the information I just told you is also included in writing down here. So you certainly can read through all of this. And your MTA is 98-383, which is Introduction to Programming using HTML and CSS. As I said, near the end of the semester, those blocks will be open and you will see all sorts of resources available for you guys to study from. The test is taken at the Parsons-Stulin Professional Testing Center. That is on the Aero Park campus. In the past, we were able to get vouchers for students to take the test at other locations. Now, we really can't do that because we purchase a pool of tests, and there's no way we can just extract one voucher for a student. So please plan on taking the test at the Aero Park campus. We have the vouchers for you, so you don't really need to worry about that. Let's see, course communication, as I mentioned, the best way to contact me is through email because I am not on campus right now very much. This one says fall, but I'm not going to be on campus much in the spring either because of COVID. And the rest of this I can let you guys read through on your own. It's pretty self-explanatory. And that brings me to down here to the college syllabus. This is the same for every single class. So if you have not looked at it, you should read through it because it includes college policies that you need to know. The course assignment schedule, this is something you are going to want to print out. The schedule is set up week by week, and you'll notice that the activities pretty much match up to what we have at the top of each block in Moodle. And this also tells you due dates. I suggest printing this out because as you complete things, I think it's helpful to cross them out. Okay, and then you'll know if you've completed everything or not. One thing that you should note is that for the chapters in the book, we read ranges of pages. We do not read entire chapters. So it's really kind of important that you pay attention. We are not, in lesson 2, we are not reading all of chapter 2. We are reading a couple different ranges of pages. Okay, so if you read through that whole chapter, you are creating a whole bunch of extra work for yourself that you don't need to do yet. And let's see, that brings me down to the first assignment. There is a video you can watch that shows you how to do this, but basically you're going to create a little student profile and it's going to display here. Every time you enter the course, you are going to see a different student in the spotlight. And this is just a nice way for you guys to get to know each other. And it is worth points. It will not take you very long to complete. And so you need a photo and either like one sentence about yourself or maybe some hashtags, or if you have a quote that you like, that's fine too. You'll notice that I did a little quote and some hashtags. That's a picture of me and my granddaughter. Then you are going to want to complete the discussion exercise. And you will notice that I always, whatever I make you guys do, I do too. So for the discussion exercise, this is where you share a little bit more about yourself. If there's a nickname you prefer, include that, include what your interests and hobbies are, what your major or program of study is. If there's any additional information you want to share, feel free to do that. Only share what you are comfortable with. And you will notice that I do tend to overshare, but this is my kind of my opportunity to give you some information about my background and how I got into teaching. So I included that information in here so you kind of know, yeah, I was a programmer analyst, but why did I make the move over to teaching? And I explain all of that in here. So it just gives you a little more information about me and my background. And like I said, just include what you guys are comfortable with. So the profile and the discussion are both worth points. Make sure you complete both of those. And then we get into the first chapter. This is basically a web development overview. And if you have not purchased the book yet, uh, the quiz is kind of based on the lecture. Quite often people don't have the book the first week, so I basically did the quiz off of the lecture. So all of the information that's in this lecture should cover what's on that quiz. So read through the first chapter in the book, read through the lecture, and then take the quiz. The quiz is open book, open note. Well, once you finish that, there is software that you need to download before lesson 2. We are using VS Code, Visual Studio Code, as our web editor. This is the industry standard for web developers. It is free. So if you click on the link, you'll notice that you can download a version that corresponds to your operating system. We are using FileZilla to transfer our web pages from your computer to the internet web server. This is also free. Okay, so you are going to want to download FileZilla. And then for web browsers, you definitely need to check your page on more than one. So most people have Chrome. I would also recommend installing Firefox. Windows users probably already have Edge. But Chrome, Firefox, and Edge are kind of the 3 biggies. And if you want to install Opera, that's fine. Unfortunately, Safari is not supported in Windows. So where I check Apple products is on my iPhone and on my iPad. That's where I check iOS because I can't really check it on my computers because I am a Windows user. So make sure you have several of these to check your pages in. And that is pretty much it for week 1. If you have any problems with anything, downloading and installing the software, if you run into a problem with the quiz, anything else, please let me know. I am here to help you. Have a great week, and I look forward to reading through your profiles and your introductions.